The opinions and views expressed in the following program are those of the speakers and the host, and do not necessarily reflect those of Yoakley Scott Corporation and your sports network.
Yeah, I've been closer to Jesus before, so can you help me out? Oh, can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? But can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? Or can you help me out? Can you help me out? I've been scared to look in my soul. I've been afraid I would follow the road. Yeah, afraid of the things I've been told.
And hello, everybody. Welcome inside a Friday episode of Running Point on YSNLive.com. As always, we are brought to you by our good friends over at Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. They go the extra mile for you, so you don't have to, and we thank them every day for their kindness and generosity sponsoring Running Point. And man, do they back us up a ton. We have a cool show for you today because obviously there were no games last night, so nothing to recap, which usually fills up a big chunk of the show. So what we're going to do, we're going to play catch up a little bit with some player profiles, some interviews that we've been able to gather here towards the end of the season that we want to play. We want to play them either as quick as possible because their season, just recently ended, or because they're playing, either tonight or tomorrow, and their season is not guaranteed to move on, although we hope it does, and we are hoping that these seasons keep going. We want to make sure that they get featured in a timely manner towards the end of their season. So we have a couple of them that we're going to play for you today. Since we have the time, we're gonna share. We're gonna share the light a little bit. We're gonna start our player profile episode. I'm gonna call it with a player profile from Archbishop Hoban, the boys team. They are playing tomorrow night against Boardman in the sectional finals. And Ty Bartell had a chance to catch up with Josh Greer from Hoban boys basketball. Want to take the time now. We're just going to get right into it. Josh Greer from Archbishop Hoban. I hope you enjoy this interview.
Ty Bartell in with another edition of Player Profile. This time we're back up to our friends over there in Akron with the Archbishop Hoban Knights. One of their seniors, Josh Greer, talking with me today. Josh, how are we doing?
I'm good, man. How about you?
Not doing too bad. I want to talk first and foremost about this season. Another winning season you're a part of, 15-7 for the Knights. You've only known success there at Archbishop Hoban. Talk to me about just coming into your senior season, the way this season played out, the ebbs and flows, the ups and downs, and how it all culminated. What's a recap in your perspective?
Yeah, so we started off kind of slow, and we didn't start off our strongest. We came off of, football team went back to the state championship, so we had a lot of football guys coming back, and we had to make up for lost time, so to speak. We had like 5 games in 8 days, and that's where we had a lot of our losses early on, like 3 or 4 losses right off the bat. So we were battling 500 for like the first third of the season, and then once we reached that point and we had a nice little win streak going, we were able to rally some wins and finishing the regular season 15-7 now. Just huge strides from where we started.
You've experienced a ton of success in your athletic career and in both sports that you participated in, all sports that you participated in. Talk to me about just what it's like to maintain that kind of level of success and kind of do your job right in each one of the teams that you're a part of.
Yeah, for me, it's just kind of like it's figuring out where I fit and each wherever I am, what sport I'm playing, and what the team is that year, the players that we have. Obviously, I had a different role last year in football and basketball as a junior than I did this year. Just last year we were senior heavy too. We had like 9 seniors for hoops, And now I'm in the role where I'm a senior, and there's only 4 of us, so I just have to really make up for that, be the best leader that I can be. And then as far as football goes, there's a lot more guys, but just really doing what I can do for the team. I had to step up in different positions this year with injuries, and and for me that's the biggest thing is just team first and doing what we can do to win, and that's why we're successful, because we have a lot of like-minded guys that are selfless and do what needs to be done to win.
You're an integral part of last year's team too, man. And I mean, you got that experience that not many people get to say that they have in winning a championship, a state championship for basketball too. And I mean, Hope, and I believe smallest school to do it too at the D1 level. Talk to me about just being a part of that team, that atmosphere, and what that experience was like from a player perspective.
Yeah, no, that was for sure one of the best experiences that I've had at Hoban, and one of the coolest experiences I've had in my life for sure. Just being a part of something that special, being known as like a football school and being able to get a state championship in Division I, the first one that we had in like 30 years since our head coach won. And yeah, being able to get some experience. I started like the first half of the season. I started about like 9 games, I think. And that was just a neat experience. I mean, even over winter break, going to Florida, be able to play some games there, that really strengthened our team bonding. And then going to Dane. So that's the goal this year, to go back to Dane, and once you're there, anything can happen.
I absolutely respected how you last season too kind of took a step back because you knew where Sam was starting to progress, and then he got more minutes, and it kind of flowed too, and you kind of became that igniter off the bench. Talk to me about what that was like too. Was that an easy transition for you? I mean, it seems like you're just the type of guy, whatever is best for the team, but was that tough for you, or was that an easy transition for you to just say, hey, we're going to do this, it's best for the team?
Up front, it was a hard pill to swallow, for sure. But yeah, just realizing and taking a step back and realizing what was best for the team, and that I wasn't going to hold back the team with however I felt. Instead, I switched my mindset to a more supportive role and more optimistic role, mindset, and understand that was best with the team. And at the end of the day, 6'8", he had to be the big. So.
You talk about your experience though going into this season, and you have taken a big step in a big role. You've basically become that kind of voice, that leader on the floor too. You talk about taking on a different role from junior year to senior year. What did you learn about kind of becoming a leader and taking on this leadership role in your senior year?
Yeah, I realized that it's kind of like one of those things where it's a very in the moment thing. You don't take on that role until it's your time, and then you're there. You don't really think about it until you're in it. And I think for me, it's just kind of being how I was last year. And I'm not the most vocal leader. I kind of speak through my actions a lot of times, and it's understanding what kind of a leader that you are. I mean, obviously Jonas, he's a leader in a lot of different ways, vocal and how he acts and everything. And that's important. Joey, he does his thing. Sam Mazzola, he has his own thing. So for me, it's more about just being the more quiet guy, and letting my actions speak, and my my demeanor.
Talk to me about some of the coaches you've had the pleasure of being coached by at Hoban too. I mean, both Coach Terrell and Coach TK. I mean, two of, I think, the very best in not only Northeast Ohio but the entire state. Just talk to me about being able to kind of pick their brains and kind of be taught by them and learn the craft in both football and basketball.
Yeah. I'll start off with football. Coach T. I mean, it's a immense blessing being able to have him as a coach. He's mentored me a lot. He played tight end, so he gets me, and he's been a huge part of my development, turning me into the football player that I am now, and just the trust in me and belief and to getting me to where I am right now. It's been a true blessing, and the whole coaching staff. There's so many great coaches in football that go into what we do, and they don't always get all the credit, but I know who they are, and they do a great job. But and then for basketball, I mean, having TK it's insane. I mean, he's 30 years coaching. My mom had him, I think, as a teacher. Yeah, and it just the experience that he has, and being our principal too. It's just a full circle moment for our school, for sure, that he's able to do that, and just mentor us as student athletes on the basketball court and in the classroom.
I've always said TK is like one of those people. Like if you could make Hoban into a person, like Hoban as a person is TK Griffith. He definitely he's the living person of what Archbishop Hoban is all about.
For sure.
No doubt. Let's talk about your first chapter and where sports kind of started for you too. We've been talking a little bit recently. I want to kind of go back in the past. When did you first find yourself getting involved in sports? What's some of the earliest memories with basketball, with football, maybe?
Yeah, so some of my earliest memories was like for basketball was like second grade. I don't know if that's when I started, but that's like one of my earliest memories. Second grade, like Y ball, playing on these little side courts in like a probably first and second grade league or second and third. That's where it all started in those Y ball leagues. I went to Lake, so yeah, the Lake Y ball league, and that's where it started for me. And then football, it was third grade, or maybe it was third or fourth grade, for me in youth, and it was like the Miami Dolphins or something like that, youth football. And then I also played like when I was young, I played like t-ball, and like coach pitch baseball. I played like 1 year of kid pitch in third grade, but it wasn't really my thing. So that's kind of where it all started with me. And then in hoops, I started playing AAU around like middle school, like maybe like fifth grade, sixth grade, and that took me to a different level, helped my development a lot, and I met a lot of people. And AAU, those were some good times in hoops for sure. I didn't play like last year. I was kind of more focusing on the off season for football, but all the years up until that point, I did. So AAU was a big part for me for basketball.
You talk about, I mean, you had early starts in both the sports. What do you think kind of kept you in it for all the years and kept you coming back year in and year out?
Yeah, it's just kind of like just love for the sports for sure. But I'm just a competitive person, and I just love competition. Just the relationships. A lot of it's the people that I do it with. They make it worthwhile. And then just having the presence of mind that I'm at a place where we have good sports teams, and why not be involved in that and be a part of that. And it's just a really good blessing that I have, that I'm able to be at the school and it's successful in all sports for like all around. I don't play baseball. I have friends that do, and they do their thing as well. So I mean, it's really whatever sport you want, and you put a lot into it, and you hope you can be a part of something that's bigger than yourself, and successful programs and both sports.
You talk about past chapters, current chapters. Let's talk a little bit about future chapters. And for anyone who doesn't know, why don't you break the news on what's in the future for Josh Greer after high school?
Yeah. For me, I decided to play football at Army West Point. So to be able to go to Army West Point is really a blessing. Really is from God. It's a great blessing, but to play football there is a whole other level. So I'm thankful, and I'm excited. So after hoops, that's where my mind's at, and I'm excited. I'm going to be going to Army West Point and serving our country playing football.
We've talked to a couple of athletes that have gone to Army West Point in the YSN family too. You're another one to that, but you're the first Hoban Knight basketball player to be able to say that honor. What does that mean to you to know that you're the first of all time? I mean, really in Hoban history.
It's crazy. I think I was in the counselor's office, and they said I was like the first one they've ever had. So I don't know if that's all of Hoban or just the counselors that were in that room. And then I'm Coach T's first guy. So for football side of things, I think I'm the first as well. But yeah, it's crazy to think about. Like, we've had a lot of good athletes and a lot of smart people, and a lot of different people go to different branches of the military. But for me to be the first Army West Point is it's a blessing for sure, and it's something that I'm proud of.
No doubt, man. And I mean, what was it about it too that kind of made you say, yeah, this feels right. This is what I want to do?
Yeah. So first and foremost, my dad's side has a big military background, mainly in the Marine Corps though. And then when I went out on my visit, it just felt right. And then just competitive ball, just the school, the campus is beautiful, and just the history and the meaning behind it all. The institution is that's what made it feel right.
I have a little experience with family in the military as well. Have you gotten any jabs from from the Marine side of things about going to Army or
Yeah,
West Point?
yeah. There's always jokes, but it's the same thing with Navy, except maybe not as friendly of a rivalry. So
But let's talk about some of the younger players too that are up and coming, and maybe see what Josh Greer is doing, and they're inspired, and maybe they want to see themselves in your shoes one day. What's some advice you give to some young up and coming athletes too on being successful and being able to get the most out of themselves and being the best they can be?
yeah, I would tell them to just take things day by day. If you come in and you practice and you have a good attitude and you build good relationships in the classroom, even with your teachers and with your coaches, get to know the guys and just work hard. Hoban's different, and it's just different. You got to come in and work, and the things that we have or the places we go, those games, it's not guaranteed. That's the thing I would tell them also. You have to do the work to get there. Just because it's been done in the past doesn't mean it's continued to be done. You just got to keep working and have a good mindset and just appreciate it. You just got to appreciate being healthy and being able to play the game, because not every guy has that. Obviously, you've seen with our team and in football, not everyone has the blessing to be able to play throughout the course of a season.
So let's talk about coaching yourself a little bit. What would senior Josh Greer tell freshman Josh Greer about working in sports? Maybe some advice you'd give yourself.
That's a good question. I would just tell myself, I don't know. That's a good question. I would tell myself just to take in everything from everyone else. So all the upperclassmen guys, like really take something from each one of those guys and emulate that in my life, which I feel like I've done. I just don't know if I did it as a freshman. I might have like reflected on it when I was a junior about those guys, maybe been more present about it for those current seniors when I was a freshman, really appreciating their story and getting to know them.
It's always tough for athletes too, the younger ones, because they're always so future minded. They want to get to being the starter role, but sometimes it's just appreciating the process and taking everything in. No doubt. Josh, before I let you go too, I mean, we're so incredibly proud of you here at YSN and what you're going to be doing and continuing to do after high school. But before we let you go, I want to give you that opportunity. Shout out your support system. Shout out some big names that have been there for you along the way. You want to give some love and some spotlight too.
All right. Shout out my grandparents, all my extended family, relatives, aunts, uncles, my parents, brothers, sisters, and coaches for sure. The church, shout out, and then all my friends as well. You guys know who you are, so shout out.
Shout out and all the love from Josh Greer to all you guys too, and all the love from us here at YSN to you, Josh, and what you're doing. And excited for another tournament run here for the Archbishop Hoban Knights. We wish you guys the best of luck, and hopefully it does culminate in another trip to Dayton for Hoban.
Yep, it's the goal.
This has been another edition of Player Profile with one of the Archbishop Hoban Knights, one of their seniors, Josh Greer.
I love the end of that interview. It cracked me up. You know who you are. My friends, too, you know who you are. If you know, you know. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. That was Josh Greer, a senior from Archbishop Hoban. The Knights trying to repeat as state champions, and their journey starts tomorrow. They had a bye in the first round. They awaited the winner of Boardman versus Maslin Perry. Boardman went on the road, got the upset victory over the Panthers. And because of that, we have an all-YSN matchup tomorrow in the sectional finals between Hoban and Boardman. So make sure to check in on that and see how the Knights and Spartans do. It's a win-win for YSN because either way we get a team in districts. We love it when it works out that way. For sure. We have more player profiles to get to today. We're going to go into the pool. Swimming-wise, Preston Buckingham won. Actually, I'm going to say it. I think we can all say it. Best swimmer in Columbiana program history. He has 10 of the 11 possible records that you can have in Columbiana. He has one more to get, and he has one more year to do it too. So, a great swimmer. We interviewed him before his trip to districts, And before his trip to state, I should say. And it was a great interview, great kid. You can find it in its entirety. It's already posted on YSN Live in our YouTube, but we want to share it on Running Point as well. So we're going to transition from basketball into the pool. For swimming, we've had a couple of swimmers that we've been able to feature on our player profiles this year. We're going to do another one with Columbiana's Preston Buckingham. Anthony Hartwig with you, and we are joined by a Columbiana swimming player profile. We have junior Preston Buckingham, not in the Palace, but in Columbiana. Maybe should be in the Palace with the records you're breaking. Preston, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today.
Yes, thank you for the opportunity.
Let's talk about first the records you have. I mean, you're a junior, you have one more year, but I'm counting up these records that you have at Columbiana for the swim program. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 records that you hold in Columbiana. What's that mean to you to be able to be so well into the record book?
It's definitely special for me. It's something that I could leave my mark on the school.
I'm starting to think, like, are there records left to be broken?
There's one.
There's one. Okay, what's the record that's still yet to fall that you're working for?
It's the 50 freestyle.
All right, let's get that, and then we can have you back on your senior year and talk about what it's like to sweep the whole record book. Let's talk about qualifying for state. Obviously, that's why we brought you on. You're ready to go. You're going to start your state journey tomorrow and Friday, or when the state meet is. What's this moment mean to you, and what's it like to call yourself a state qualifier?
It's definitely special. It kind of just proves that all the work that I've put in over the season has paid off.
You know, when you go to districts and you know that what's on the line, what are some things that are going through your head? How are you able to stay focused, calm, and locked in during districts when you know everything that was on the line?
I kind of just think about it as like any other meet. It's nothing too special. And I go in and I swim my best, like at every meet, and the results kind of take care of themselves.
This is your third time at state now. What did you learn from the first two that you're taking into this third time to try to get a better placement than you ever have?
Well, I definitely learned that it's a different environment. There's a lot more people. It's a lot louder, but you kind of have to just lock in and do your thing.
If you go back to your first time ever going down there 2 years ago as a freshman, we have a lot of swimmers that we've even talked to that are making their first trip, making their first qualifier to state. What advice do you give swimmers for their first trip down there, trying to keep it, like you said, it's louder, there's a bigger environment. How were you able to lock it down and treat it like just another meet?
I would say you gotta go in and you gotta just take care of business. You have to act like you would at any other meet, and the results will take care of themselves.
Obviously, you've made the Columbiana community so proud. When we posted 1 or 2 swim profiles last week, people were coming to us in droves like, hey, you got to get Preston. You got to get this player profile up. What does it mean to you to have a community that supports you and supports the sport so much at Columbiana?
I think it's absolutely amazing. I love Columbiana. I love all the people here. So to have them backing me, to have them behind me as I travel to state for my third year is something very special to me.
With all the success you've had, have you seen like a growing interest in the sport? Have you seen more people ask you questions about how to get into swimming or how to join the swim team?
Since I've been in Columbia on the Columbiana swim team, our swim team has grown in size. My freshman year, we were huge, and we've only gotten larger since. We had the biggest team my freshman season. Beforehand, we'd only had like 4 or 5 people on the team, and my freshman season, I think we had like 13.
What's it mean to you that's a small school? That's a big team for a small school. So many people are interested in the sport in your community.
Oh, I think it's great. I think that a lot of people should swim. Swimming is great. It's shaped me to who I am, and I think that it's a great source of cardio too. So.
With the success you've had, you have to be a role model. Like you have to be the guy that people are looking towards, that they want to be, the standard of what Preston is setting. So what's it like to know that guys are looking up to you and guys are using you as a motivating factor to drive themselves to be better?
I just try and be the best role model I can for my teammates, like Ryan Folger, who is also going to state this year. He's my club teammate, and he's like a brother to me. I love that kid so much. So I try and be the best role model I can for him.
And he was the interview right before you, so perfect timing. When you think about the role models that you had, maybe when you were young, the people that you looked up to, who were those guys? Who were the guys that taught you how to be a role model now?
One of my best friends, his name's Colin Kellerman. He plays baseball here at Columbia, and he's also a swimmer. I met him when I was in kindergarten, so we've been best friends for like 10 years now. And he's kind of just taught me that you have to stay level-headed, and no matter what, you have to face adversity head on and keep your head high.
I ask every swimmer that I talk to this. I don't care how repetitive it gets to people listening, because I think not enough people know about the physical demands that the sport has. Talk about like the work you put in to be as conditioned as you are, and how not easy it is to work as hard as you do.
Right. So my practice schedule weekly is 10 to 15 hours a week. It's roughly 5,000 yards of practice. And that's crammed into hour 45. So that's not a ton of time for the amount of yards that we swim. So we don't really have a ton of rest mid-season, but you reach the end of the season and you start to take yardage off, you get more rest. And that's when your results start coming out. But yeah, it's a lot of work, plus the dry land that we put into it. And I started personal training this year too. So there's a lot more work that I put in this year.
Okay, you add all of that to schoolwork, being a kid, trying to have a social life. It's a lot of plates to juggle in the air. How do you balance it all?
I would say that there's not a straightforward answer for that. I kind of just try and do all my schoolwork in school. I have multiple study halls. So I try and knock out my homework while I'm at school. So when I get home, the hour that I have before I start getting ready for practice is time that I can relax and clear my head.
How would you personally grade your time management skills? Like, are you really good at managing your time and getting your stuff done?
Oh boy, I would say that I'm probably worse than my sister, but I kind of have to be, with everything that I have in my schedule, I kind of have to be pretty good at time management.
What kind of techniques have you done? Because I'm guessing with that answer, you haven't always been good at it. Like, you've had to grow in your time management skills. What were some techniques or some things that you did to make sure that your skills at time management got better?
Well, I would say that doing my work in my study halls is a huge thing. A couple years that I've had study halls, I kind of really haven't done all my schoolwork like I should have, and that causes a lot of stress at home. So doing my work in my study halls is definitely.
Your sister, who you say is a better time manager than you are, did she swim too?
Yes, she's a freshman.
So what's it like to bring her into this program and to see her start her high school career as well?
Oh, she's great. She's a beast. I think that if she didn't get sick right before districts this year, she would have been a state qualifier as well. So look out for her.
That's it. That's always tough to handle. You can't control when your body gets sick. But how much do you compete against each other? Like, do you get into the pool against each other and test skills?
Yeah, it's definitely competitive. I wouldn't say that we race each other a whole lot, but I try and push Tori.
What's her best event, and how does it compare to the one that you think you thrive the most at?
Oh, we're both breaststrokers. So I swam the 100 breasts and the 2 IM in high school season, and she swam the same events this year.
Now, here's the interesting question. You're the one that you're best at. Is that also your favorite, or do you have one that's like your favorite to do, but it's not necessarily your best time?
My best event is my favorite event, the 100 breaststroke. But I'm also in USA season. I'm more of a 200 breaststroker, but they don't offer that event in high school. So.
How does one develop a favorite stroke? Like, how did you get into, okay, the breaststroke is the one that I'm going to be good at? Is that just something that you found out, or was it just one that at a young age you liked doing the most, so you worked harder at it?
Yeah, so I started swimming when I was 5, and breaststroke just kind of came easy to me. I started club when I was 8, and it's just kind of evolved from there. And breaststroke has always been something I've been pretty good at. So I just stuck with that, and it is definitely my best and my favorite stroke.
Well, talking to other swimmers, they also brought up training your lung capacity and how important that is for swimmers, and something that is obvious, but you don't really think of as another athlete. If quarterbacks are struggling with accuracy, obviously they go and they just throw the football around. If basketball shooters are struggling with their shot. They get in the gym, they shoot. How do you train your lung capacity? How do you make sure your lung capacity is where it needs to be?
Sure. So we do something called VO2 max, which is a lot of fast-paced like sprint stuff with minimal rest time. So you're using a lot of oxygen, and your lungs are, you're tired, you're breathing heavy, but that's how you train your lung capacity.
So for the people that said, "Oh, you're just sick," athletes can try doing all of that while you're having even if it's a common cold. Good luck with that. So that's
Right.
why sickness can affect you so much as a swimmer. Let's talk about your personal life. What are some things that you do outside of the pool that keep you balanced in a lifestyle and not let your mind be too taken over by the swim?
Oh yeah. So my friend group is huge. I have a close-knit group of friends that I try and see as much as I can with my swim schedule being so busy. It's not too often, but I definitely try and see them a lot. And my family's a huge support, and they try and take a load off my shoulders.
Do you have any friends that like aren't swimmers that ask you off the wall questions that are from the outsider perspective of swim?
Yeah, I do. Quite a few of my friends aren't swimmers, and they don't necessarily understand the sport. So I try and explain it the best I can, but it's kind of hard.
What's the FAQ, the most frequently asked question that you get from the outsiders?
Are you going to be in the Olympics? Probably. To that answer, if I keep up the work, maybe.
Let's talk about that, because the Olympics were the one time when swimming is in the center stage. Like, it's one of the most popular sports. It's NBC primetime swimming. What's it like for a swimmer of yourself to know that when the Summer Olympics pop up, all of a sudden your sport is taking center stage?
I think it's great. I think swimming is a super exhilarating sport, and a lot of people don't know that until they watch the Olympics and they watch these close races. I've seen quite a few close races before people get tapped out by 1/100th, watching the Olympics and just sitting on the side of the pool and watching. So yeah, it gets the adrenaline going.
Do you have a favorite swimmer that does it professionally?
I like Caleb Dressel a lot. I met him at Spire a couple years ago. He's great.
Well, that'll definitely bump someone to favorite when you're able to meet him. Did you get a chance to talk shop with him, or was it just a quick meet and greet?
It was. I went to one of his start clinics, so like he talked about what his start is like, and he walked us through a couple exercises that he does to improve it. And then I got him to sign my bag and stuff.
If you could sit down one-on-one with any Olympic swimmer, I mean, whether it be him or someone else, what are some questions that you think you would want to know about what they do for their career and the things that they're able to do to get them to the spot that they're at?
Honestly, I think one of the biggest questions that I asked them is like, everybody has a hard time with something at some point in their life. How did they persevere through that struggle, either inside the pool or out, so they could continue competing?
I'm going to turn that question on its head and point it to you. What has been your biggest form of adversity so far in your career, and how did you get past it?
So last year, as a sophomore, I came in pretty confident in myself, but I hit a wall about halfway through. I hit a personal issue, so I kind of had to struggle with that through the rest of the season, and that's why I feel like I didn't perform as well as state, because it kind of derailed me off my swimming mindset. And so,
what were some of the big things that got you through that, out the other side of the tunnel, and got you back to where you wanted to be?
Definitely my family and my coaches. They made sure that I was okay, and they pushed me to get back and training hard.
All right, Preston, before we let you go, I want to give you the chance to thank all those people that are in your support circle. I'm sure you've mentioned a couple of them already in this interview. I want you to mention them again, give them their time in the sun, and let everyone know who the biggest people are in your circle.
Yeah, so I'd like to thank my mom and my dad and my sister, as well as my grandparents, Grammy, Papa, and Nana. I'd also like to thank Caden, Coleman, Liam, Aiden, Parker, and Rocco, and Ian Less for always being there for me, and Colin Kellerman, of course, for always being someone I could joke with.
A lot of those names we know and from other sports, and they're great athletes at Columbiana. You're one of them, Preston. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us today and talking to us about your junior season. wish you the best of luck at state the next couple of days, and we look forward to talking to you again real soon.
Thank you.
Now you can see every school, to the smallest school, to the intermediate schools, to the schools in the outlying areas. It gives you coverage that you could just never get to before. It's something that's great to experience, and it's opened up a whole new wave of sports viewership. The possibilities are endless here at YSN. Push the envelope every day. Try something new. If it works, great. If it doesn't, well, let's try another angle, and we just keep moving forward. My name is Mike Ackelson, and my sports network is your sports network.
What can you do on over 5,000 acres? At Mill Creek Metro Parks, you can discover unique habitats and wildlife, create memorable family moments, experience history, heritage, and park programs, explore scenic landscapes, take time to relax and be well, connect with nature and each other. Come see what's new at Mill Creek Metro Parks. Plan your trip now at millcreekmetroparks.org.
Going the extra mile at Greenwood Chevrolet means taking care of our local customers.
And it's just a great feeling to put them in a vehicle and get them all excited about a new vehicle.
At the end of the day, our goal is to be someone our customers can count on.
And every day I'll go the extra mile for the community so they can trust us.
To do anything that would convenience the customer or make them feel more at home.
Realizing, number one, that we're here for them and that we're not going to go away.
That's what going the extra mile means, only at Greenwood Chevrolet.
And welcome back to Running Point on ysnlive.com. Friday edition here, closing out the week. First day of March, too, by the way, so I want to congratulate everyone on getting through February and the leap year, 29th. And, diving into leap year, it was, on social media, there was a video that circulated. I never even knew that there was also decades where you have to, take out leap years, because the reason for a leap year, of course, is, every rotation around the sun. So every year takes about 6 hours more. So you take that 4 years, 6 hours, 24 hours, gives you an extra day every 4 years. But even that doesn't mathematically work. And every 400 years, you still are off a tick. So the decades that are not divisible by 400, apparently, do not have leap years. So I grew up in the 90s and we didn't have a leap year in the 1990s, which is crazy, right? There you go. So that's that. And we hope you enjoyed the leap day. And here we are on the first day of March where we're playing player profiles for you guys. We got one more today, and then after that, we will preview the games tonight and over the weekend. But we are going back into the pool from Columbiana to Boardman, and we're going to talk with Gina Poli, who is one of the great Boardman swimmers. Their girls and their guys both qualified for state. She was a part of an individual race where she got to state. She was also a part of a couple of relays. They got to state as well. So here's her player profile as we dive back into the water, this time with the Boardman swim team. Hello, everybody. Welcome inside another swimming and diving player profile. We're in Boardman this time around. It is Gina Poli joining us today. Gina, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
Exciting time for you. You have qualified for state in a couple of different events. What's it like for you to obviously reach a goal that you've been working for all season?
It's been great. Last year I got a taste of what it felt like to go to such a big meet like this, and to be able to, all the work pay off throughout the season, and to get to this point again is such a fun and exciting experience.
Considering that last year, like you said, was your taste, you got an idea of what it feels like. Has that made this week leading up to it any easier and a little bit less stressful, knowing exactly what to expect?
It made it easier just to, know what I'm getting myself into when I get to the meet. Like, it's just such a high caliber. Like, the swimmers and the talent that's at this meet is nothing like I've ever seen before. But it also added to the pressure because I've went there before. So I was expecting myself to, make it there again. And it was more pressure, I think, throughout the season to get to this point like I did last year.
Let's talk about this district qualifier that you had over the weekend. Obviously successful. You get qualified to state. What was going through your mind? Like you said, you're trying. There's a lot more pressure because you made it last year, and maybe that brings expectations to make it again from the outside world. What was it like this year to go back into that district meet and to be able to just kind of lock in and have the success you had?
It felt, like you said, like a lot of pressure was going like into the meet, but me and my fellow like relay members and my teammates, like we all knew like what it took to get to the level that we wanted to go to and to get to this meet this weekend. And we did all the practices, we put in all the work, and it was all that work just led up to that one moment to get us here.
Before we talk about the relays that you're a part of that got to state, let's talk about your individual, the 100-meter butterfly. Not only did you qualify for state, but you also broke a school record in doing it. I mean, that's success, and then you're raising the bar a little bit. What was that like?
It was great. It was a personal PR because I've broken this record last year, so I had it throughout the season. And to be able to get my fastest time that I've ever swam and to break that record for the second time was a crazy experience, and it felt amazing.
I mean, that's swagger. What's that like to not just break a record, but break your own record and be able to say, yeah, I broke it. I have the first two names now on that board.
It was crazy. Going into it, I was like, I know what time I have to get to qualify for state and to beat my own time. And to be able to do both at the same time was incredible.
We're kind of having fun with you breaking records, but in swimming, you're always competing against yourself. No matter if you have the record or not, you always want to get the personal record, always want to beat your personal best. What's that like to constantly be kind of competing with yourself a little bit? And when you get in the pool, it's just you in the water competing with yourself for your personal times.
Swimming is such a mental sport. Like, I always try to, beat myself and beat my old times and to keep getting better. So when you get and you do all the work during the season and to see it all pay off at the end of you getting faster and you beating, yourself in the past, it's always a cool, like, thing for you to feel that, you're putting in the work and the effort and it's paying off.
All right, so two relays that you got qualified for. Start with the 200 medley. Obviously, that's the first one we're going to talk about. What was it like in that relay? Obviously, a couple of different faces in it than the other one. What's it like to have a relay like that and to be able to work together with your teammates to qualify for state as well?
Before the relay even started, we were behind the blocks, and me and my fellow relay, Petra and Allie and Alex, we were all nervous and antsy about it because, we were going in at a good time. Like, our seed time for the meet was good. So it was looking good to, have it advance to state. But you never know what's going to happen when you step on the block, and you never know who's going to go faster or if something might happen. So we were all pretty nervous. But going up to the block, we were all just like, we've done all the work. Whatever happens, happens. And it paid off in the end.
So then when we talk about the 200 free, it's you and Alex and Petra again, but you add Abby to the mix, which means there are now 5 swimmers on the girls' side that have qualified for state. We'll talk about that relay and what went so right and what was so successful about it.
We went into that. We obviously had a new relay member into it, different from our medley, and we went into it feeling nervous like the last time, but we kicked off the meet in a really, really good energy with, automatically qualifying. So we had a good, base going into the 200 free. And again, we just talked and we were like, whatever happens, happens. But, let's get to like next week.
What's it like to be a part of a team that is taking 5 people to state? I mean, obviously you and Alex both qualified individually as well as the relays, but then you have 2 relays as well. 5 members of the team going to state. That's got to be an exciting room to be a part of.
It was amazing when we were on a bus ride home and, we were just getting all the results from the other districts and really, knowing officially like what place we were. And it was amazing to be able to be such high ranked going into this really, really fast meet. Is just a really exciting experience and like one that most people don't get to have, and to be able to have it is truly a blessing.
Then, of course, when you include the boys, you have 9 swimmers going to state because they have 2 relays that's also qualified. So don't want to leave them out. So 9 swimmers at Boardman. I mean, what is it about this whole program that is so special that allows that kind of success?
I mean, we have a great coaching staff. Coach Carlo, Coach Chelsea, and Coach Mark. They really have us put in the work during the season. So then when we do go on to taper, we drop a bunch of time, we PR, and we really get the results that we have. And to have such a good support system and other fellow teammates and, parents and friends who come and support us, I think it really does help and make a difference.
We've talked about already competing against yourself and your individual times and how individualistic this sport can really be, but you're also a part of a team. How do you balance that? How are you able to say, okay, I have to focus on my individual times and my individual races, but it's also there for my teammates, there for my relays, there for the people that are with me too. And we have to be a team as well.
To be able to excel in these relays, everybody has to put in the same amount of work. I mean, if you go your fastest time in a relay split, then your relay will be faster. And if everybody goes faster, then, you'll get the results that you want. And to be able to, work as a team in that sense of just pushing yourself during practice, my relay members are in my lane during practice. So we push each other because we all know where we want to be at the end of the season, where we want to go.
What's it like competing against your teammates in practices and in the meets and to be able to kind of test yourself against the people in the room that what they're capable of too?
I think it pushes everybody still, and, it allows us to work harder and to really know like how far we want to go.
You brought up your coaching staff, which is great. I mean, Coach Carlo, we've talked to him multiple times. Just a fantastic swimming coach. What's it been like to just have him to be there with you guys and to mold all you guys, not just the swimmers in the pool, but I'm sure as people as well?
It's been great. He's been my coach since I was 6, so I've known him my whole life. And I don't think I would be such a good swimmer if it wasn't for him and always believing in me and pushing me to my limit to make me succeed.
So you started at 6 with Coach Carlo. When did you start to realize that swimming was something that you loved and you wanted to work hard at and you wanted to, spend more and more time in the pool?
I think it was when I was about 10, maybe. That's kind of when I started getting from bad to better. And I started putting in the time and doing club swim and putting more time than just, a summer league.
From bad to better to greatness to going to state. It's a whirlwind, right? What kind of things do you think of when you reflect? I'm sure you've been reflecting a lot, qualifying for state 2 years in a row, and some of the things that memories you've made and the accomplishments you've been able to already have. What kind of things come to mind when you reflect on your swimming career?
It's insane because when I was little, I never expected myself to get as far as I've come and to, be at such a high caliber of swim. And it's really it gets emotional thinking about, little 6-year-old me and now me going to the biggest meet in the state.
And the crazy thing is you still have one more year. You're just a junior, class of 25. What's it like kind of transitioning as an upperclassman and starting to think about your future a little bit? College is on the horizon. You still have a year left, but you have to start putting in your mind. What's that been like for you handling all the stresses that come with the transition from sophomore to junior year?
Going into junior year, I knew that there was going to be more of like a leadership aspect into this season. I knew that as an upperclassman, I'd have to, show the newer underclassmen like the ropes of things and be a good leader and a good role model for them, someone they could look up to and be inspired by. But I also think that by being an upperclassman, it gives myself a little more pressure to doing good and to, being that person that people want to be when they grow up.
How much do you get to see the youth that's coming up and the girls that were, you when you were 6 working as they're young now, trying to be where you are, when they get in high school? How much do you get to interact with them, and what's it like being a role model for those people?
During the summertime in our summer swim league, I'm a junior coach, so I get to work with some of the kids during practice and, mess around with them in the pool and kind of give them pointers and give them tips. And to be able to work with them and know that, like, they're also looking up to me and they know all the things that I've accomplished, and being that I was like them 10 years ago is something really, like, inspiring.
One of the things I always have to hit every time I talk about swimmers is I don't think people understand the physical, like, shape that you have to be in to swim. Talk about the work and the conditioning and the things that you have to put your body through to be a very good swimmer.
Practices are long. We wake up at 5:30. We have lifting from 6 to 7 Mondays and Wednesdays throughout, like, the regular season. And then, things start to die down. But to have a 2-hour practice right after school, it's a lot to physically, wake up early in the morning, go home, do your homework. It's just a lot of balancing.
That is something that you have to have a drive to do. What drives you? I'm sure there are days when you don't want to get up early and go to practice, or you don't want to, go right after school and do another 2-hour practice in the pool. What gets you through those days? What keeps you driven?
It's my love for the sport. I've loved the sport since I was little, and it's also the outcome and the results that I'll get from all the hard work that's been put in.
It's a junior year, so we have to ask, do you see a possibility of a future of swimming after high school? Do you think that swimming in college is something that you might be interested in?
It's something that's on my mind. I'd really love to keep doing the thing that I love doing. And I'd like to continue to do it during college, but this season has really been a lot of me focusing on, the future of my swimming career, and that's been the big focus.
Swim or not, college is going to help you get into a career. Do you have any kind of past that you're starting to think about of things you want to do with your future, or, majors you might want to go into?
I'd like to stick with something still related to sports just because it's been such a big part of my life. Either like physical therapy or sports medicine, something still related to something that I love.
My last question for you is dealing with adversity. I know every athlete gets to a point that you're at, and you have to deal with some kind of adversity. What do you think is the biggest form of adversity you've had to face in your career? And tell us how you got past it.
I've had a couple. My freshman year and sophomore year were kind of rough. I was going through a lot of, health issues. I had COVID, so I was, out of the pool for a while. But it was really just getting back in the pool and making sure that I made the most out of all the practices that I was able to have. And, the setbacks that I had just made me work harder and get where I wanted to be.
What inspired you during those setbacks to just keep that working mentality?
It was the final outcome, and it was, all the hard work that I knew had to be put in to get where I wanted to be towards the end of the season. And it really showed last season when we qualified for state.
All right, before we let you go, we do this with all of our player profiles. I want to give you the chance to take the spotlight off of you for a minute and shine it on the people in your life. I want you to give your shout outs to all the people that support you that you wouldn't be here without. And I want you to make sure they get the limelight a little bit to end this interview.
I'd love to thank my coaches, Coach Chelsea, Coach Mark, Coach Carlo, and Coach Terry from the Y. They've really pushed me to make me the swimmer that I am. I'd like to thank my teammates for always supporting me and pushing me through practices. And I'd like to thank my family and friends for supporting me outside of the pool.
All right, Gina, we want to wish you the best of luck in state. We wish you the best of luck, like I said, and we can't wait to talk to you in real soon. Man, we're proud of you here at YSN. Keep grinding.
Thank you.
Gina DiNapoli with the Boardman swim team. She competed at state. And that kind of wraps up our player profile day here on Friday. We are going to quickly jump into the scoreboard on ysnlive.com to show you who's going to be playing tonight and preview the tournament games. Of course, sectional finals for boys basketball tonight. And then district finals tomorrow for girls. One district final tonight, Division 1, Divisions 2 through 4 tomorrow. And the opposite, one Division 1 boys basketball sectional final tomorrow. So here's what the boys games look like. Gilmore Academy traveling to Edgewood tonight. We have Poland, hosting Canton South. Keystone traveling to LeBray, same logo there. Conneaut going to Canfield. As we keep scrolling down, we have Garrettsville Garfield versus South Range. That's an all YSN matchup. Warren JFK hosting Maplewood. Heartland Christian traveling to Badger. There's another all YSN matchup, and that one's going to be fun. Two teams that actually respect each other quite a dang bit on the floor, but always fiercely competitive when they play each other. Ursuline going to be hosting Lincoln West from Cleveland. We have West Branch. They're going to be hosting East Tech. We have Villa Anna St. Joe's. That's where Cheney will have to go. Jefferson has a home game against Benedictine. Howland traveling to Madison. You have Orange still alive. They're going to Canal Fulton Northwest. Liberty travels to Canton Central Catholic. Campbell at home against Mineral Lake Catholic. You have Brookfield. They are traveling to Mooney, an all YSN matchup in Youngstown. Valley Christian has to hit the road to Mapleton. Crestview also on the road tonight in the sectional finals. Against Southeast, we have Newton Falls traveling to Kirtland. Grand Valley on the road against Hillsdale. McDonald and Western Reserve facing each other for the third time this season. A league conference matchup tonight in McDonald. Blue Devil versus Blue Devil. And then last but not least, on the boys' side, Lowville will be hosting Open Door Christian tonight in boys basketball. One girls' game district championship going on in Ravenna as Archbishop Hoban will be taking on Medina. They both got commanding victories in the semifinals. Medina with the big win over Hudson and Hoban with the big win over Akron Ellett. So we'll see how that one goes tonight. Hoban trying to become the fifth straight district champion as they take on Medina. It's also Pam Davis's fifth year. So 5 years, 5 straight district champions going for that tonight. Of course, we will now go into tomorrow since we won't see each other until Monday. Some girls district championship games in divisions 2 through 4. In Division 2, West Branch going to be playing the 10 seed Laurel. That one going down in Nordonia. That is an early tip. Most of these are 7 o'clock, but West Branch starting at 1 in Nordonia against Laurel. You have Howland against Copley. That one going on in Elyria. That's a 7 o'clock tip. Crestview taking on Keystone in Lakeview. That's a 7 o'clock tip. In Middle Ridge, an all YSN district championship, which means we're guaranteed somebody in regionals. That's always good to know. As Springfield goes to Warren JFK, Western Reserve playing Richmond Heights in Grand Valley, and then Canfield will play Akron, St. Vincent, St. Mary, and Uniontown Lake. For the boys tomorrow, we have some D1 sectional finals. Boardman and Hoban, Walsh and Jesuit going to Fitch. East Liverpool hosting Zanesville, and then Louisville will be hosting Firestone. So that's how the sectional finals for boys and the district semifinals for girls square out. The girls' games are going to be pay-per-view, so you'll have to have one payment per day, $9.99 to watch those ones. The boys' games that we have on the network, thanks to wonderful sponsors and sectionals, will be free. You can find those on ysnlive.com. That'll do it for today's episode of Running Point. We want to thank you so much for tuning in today. We appreciate it. Have a wonderful weekend. When we get back on Monday, we'll have regional set in the girls' side. We'll have district set in the boys. Can't wait to recap it all and talk about what's going to be going down in each division. We'll see you soon on Monday, 1 to 2 Running Point, always brought to you by Green.